Hey, assalamu alaikum. In this video, we will understand about the quercetin. So the quercetin is the basically anti-aging compound. So it is antioxidant effects, anti-inflammatory effects, and heart health, and lower blood pressure as well as cholesterol, cancer prevention, which that is very important, and anti-allergic. Why? Because the basically is the a lot more dust and the pollen which that cause the allergen. So that is allergic reaction inhibition by the quercetin. So anyhow, the plasma membrane is here of the person, which that's basically person contains cell and the plasma membrane. So the quercetin will two path. So the occurrence of the quercetin in onion, apples, grapes, berries, broccoli, citrus fruit, cherries, green tea, red wine, and the on the other hand capers. For example, the quercetin will move into the cell is known as the intrinsic pathway, while whenever it will be bound with the receptor is known as the extrinsic pathway. So in this video we will understand about the intrinsic pathway and extrinsic pathway. So the extrinsic pathway require the receptor, while the intrinsic pathway not require the receptor, but the quercetin will directly invade into the cell without any receptor. Okay, so here is the mitochondria. For example, whenever the mitochondria will be damaged to produce more reactive oxygen species and cause the stress of the cell. So in this, the Bax protein will increase due to the stress of the mitochondria, and the BCL2 and MMP will decrease. So what that means, BCL2 and MMP is important for the mitochondrial sustainability without any checking if the damaged mitochondria, so it will also maintain. So remember, the basically the quercetin will target to the mitochondria to produce cytochrome C release due to the Bax protein activation more. In this, cytochrome complex formation will lead to apoptosome formation by the pro-caspace 9 addition in the apoptosome, and in this, the pro-caspace 9 will active caspace 9. This active caspace 9 basically also trigger the caspace 3. Anyhow, in this way, I hope you make sense about that things basically. So in this way, the caspace 3 basically activate the PARP, the PARP protein. This PARP cleavage will occur due to the caspace 3. Basically, the caspace 3 is important regulator for the PARP cleavage. So the PARP cleavage will occur after the activation of the caspace 3. So anyhow, so in this way, the PARP cleavage will lead to apoptosis of the cell, even inside of the cell. So this is the function is going on. So anyhow, in this way, the PARP cleavage will lead to apoptosis of the cell. That is why quercetin is important for the apoptosis of the damaged mitochondrial cell. So the mitochondria containing damaged cell, so damaged mitochondria. Quercetin and the dexamethasone collectively activate the caspace 3. This caspace 3 again work for apoptosis for the damaged mitochondrial cell. In this way, the extrinsic pathway will lead to activate the caspace 8. This caspace 8 due to the phosphorylation of the receptor like tyrosine kinase receptor or other. In this way, the caspace 8 will activate to the pro-caspace 3 activation. This pro-caspace 3 activation will lead to activate the caspace 3, and this caspace 3 basically is same mechanism, will increase the caspace 3, and in this the caspace 3 is very important regulator of the apoptosis of the cell, and in this again the PARP will activate, the PARP cleavage will lead to apoptosis. So it is look like a blade. So remember, this blade will cut the whole intracellular cytoskeleton. So anyhow, I hope you make sense about that. So anyhow, the quercetin also directly intrinsic pathway will lead to activate the PI3K, inhibit the PI3K pathway, and also inhibit the AKT and mTOR pathway, will lead to retention of the cell progression, and in this way it will inhibit the growth of the cell, proliferation of the cell, and the sustainability of the cell will decrease due to the inhibition of this pathway. But on the other hand, the allergic acid and with quercetin will affect the cell cycle regulation in this way. For example, the cancer cell, so it will stop while the other cell can be progress. So important thing is that it is anti-cancerous, so that is why quercetin is very, very important. So I hope you make sense about that. The PI3K will inhibit AKT. So anabolic pathway will inhibit. In this way, the anabolism of the cell will decrease while the catabolism will trigger. Anti-cancer quercetin, obviously. So I hope you make sense about that. Anti-diabetic, how it is possible? Due to the insulin receptor increase, so the secretion so increase in this way. I hope you make sense about that. And antioxidant, basically it is oxidative stress remove, while the antimicrobial it is also important for the DNA damage repair. So in this way, some cell will contain damaged DNA will not progress, but it will change, it will correct itself by the presence of the quercetin. Quercetin is the best checker if cell more damage stops cell progression, and apoptosis for all inflammation clear. So the inflammation and allergic reaction, everything basically will clear due to the quercetin. I hope you make sense about that. If you like my video, please make sure to subscribe, like and share. And a suggestion for the new video about the antioxidant compounds. So anyhow, this is the mitochondria. So this mitochondria whenever will damage, so the quercetin will allow to apoptosis this cell which that's contain damaged mitochondrial cell. For example, reactive oxygen species inhibition by the quercetin. So see you in the next video. For this time, bye. Allah Hafiz.